So what's my rationale behind switching to an SE from an 11? Well, first of all, I kind of like smaller phones. It's kind of been my thing. But yeah, I've always been a fan of the older iPhone designs, and especially the smaller ones. And more recently, over the past year, I have kind of been in the mindset of I want to kind of go back to the old life. I know that we're so surrounded by convenience that we possibly couldn't think of living without a smartphone nowadays. Like, you'd think 15 to 20 years ago, the way that someone would live is someone would have a device for music, their phone to make calls, they would do web stuff on their computer, and they'd have a camera to take photos or videos. And no one really does that anymore. It's kind of a thing that's been frozen in the past. I don't know of a single person who doesn't do everything on their phone since 2013 at this point. It's been 10 years since people have been living in this one device, every function kind of way. And I can see the convenience in that because depending on what lifestyle you live, having a single device to manage everything would be the best. But with the way that I've been using my phone, I think I really do need to draw back quite a bit. And while I do like the camera of the phone, I do feel like the iPhone does have its caveats in terms of cameras. Like the optical image stabilization is kind of weird. It's always irked me the way that iPhone videos look when they're stabilized. And then there's also the camera quality where if you really zoom into an iPhone photo, it doesn't look very good. Like the pixelation looks pretty bad. It looks upscaled almost. And the iPhone images were too big. This was mostly a problem back when Discord still had its 8 megabyte file limit, so whenever I tried to post a photo from my phone, it would always not work for the most part. And now when I want to take photos, I use this camera like I showed in my tech collection over on this channel a few days ago. I do still like taking photos on this. Again, it's not the best, but it works for what it is. And also, if one thing ever breaks, it's always easy to just have it all on different devices. But basically, having things separately means that if one thing were to break, I could still use the other things. So for example, if my camera were to break, I could still use my phone to make calls, my video camera to take video, and I mean breaking like the lens breaks. And yeah, the phone does have a camera, so I guess that is also a redundant backup, to say the least. If something else breaks, if more other hardware breaks that prevents me from doing certain things, then having the other stuff would be really helpful. And while the whole convenience factor, I actually would have gotten a Nokia 2780 instead of an iPhone SE, but because of some current circumstances, I'm gonna have to wait on that. So I do plan on using this iPhone SE for the next 5 years, so from 2023 to 2028. Which is going to be an interesting 5 years to live with an iPhone SE again, especially since the phone's 10th anniversary of release is going to be happening during that time period. And yeah, plus I mostly plan on using my phone for phone things, you know, texting and calling, communication, Discord, because it's communication. But I have relegated that mostly to the computer when I can. So I basically put my phone largely out of use compared to most people my age because I'm only 17, and if you ask the average 17-year-old how much screen time they have on their phone, they'll probably have an average of about 7 to 9 hours a day, which is quite a lot. Yeah, I do have a lot of screen time on my computer, but I'd rather sit down, get ready to surf the web rather than, you know, lay in bed and browse for hours without realizing that time has passed. And yeah, I'm not on social media as much anymore. The only social media I really have anymore, you can count it, is YouTube and Discord, if you even count those as social media. I disabled my Twitter. I still have Instagram, but I only use that for family and friends, and even then I don't post on it anymore. Plus I deleted the Instagram app on my phone so it can't distract me. Never had TikTok. Well, I did like 4 years ago, but I barely did anything on it. And that's pretty much it. I never really used a lot of this stuff. Oh, and Snapchat. Definitely not freaking Snapchat. Everyone in my school uses Snapchat, but I never had Snapchat. There's not really much to distract me anymore on the phone, and while that does have its good and bad things, it's kind of the way that I feel like would work for me. And this lifestyle isn't for everyone, of course. Not everyone can live with a laptop, 2 cameras, and a phone, and an iPod to serve the needs that one phone can do. Not everyone can live under that lifestyle, and for me, I think it works pretty well.